Ethel MC. I was saying, oh my God, somebody got to bring that podium back. I need something to lean on. Listen, I want to thank Zach and the Firm Foundation for, giving me the opportunity to give back what was so freely given to me. A little bit about who I was. I was a former drug dealer, only female in 2 different organizations. I pimped out women. Had no reason for God because he had no reason for me. I was 8 years old when I made a decision that nobody would ever hurt me again. I had a brother who was trying to molest me. He would beat me. He would tie me up. He would torture me. And I remember being 8, and the last time he had the opportunity to do anything like that to me, I was filled with so much hatred. I remember looking in his eyes and not crying. He had took the black wires, the phone wires, if you cut them open, they're rainbow colors. He had made a ponytail, and that's what he beat me with. But I didn't cry. And it began the process of a little girl who could only identify with rage and hatred. I didn't care about anybody or anything. My whole life from that point on was just about get me. And I wasn't one of those kids that followed anybody. We could walk down the street together. If you got in front of me, you turn around, I was gone. I was never a follower. And I was not a leader either. I was a loner, an isolator, and somebody who wanted to put more fear in you than you've ever experienced in your entire life. My mother raised me, never look like what you are. So I was a dressed up bum. Had the best of everything. Plenty money, plenty drugs, just plenty, plenty, plenty. And what it did was it gave me a false sense of power. See, because I had the drugs and I knew you wanted them, you did whatever I wanted you to do to get them. And I'm telling you, if your imagination can go someplace, that was me. I had no limitations. And I need to tell y'all that even though I lived that life and I was that way, that it was always backed by fear. I was afraid somebody was going, but my partners was going to turn around and look and say, ooh, wait a minute. I was a pretty young girl. Had real long hair, nice body. And I feared my partners looking at me and seeing that I was a woman. I'm telling you, my mind was distorted. I had no sense of proportion. I had no sense of human capacity outside of breathing and bleeding like everybody else. All I wanted to do was make you afraid of me. I need to tell y'all on January the 12th, 1990, my partners, we didn't use what we sell, except for me. I would hide and go do what I do. I was a closet IV abuser. I smoked by myself. Every time they saw the evidence of my using, they would not give me a package. So then I'd go rob people, pistol whip you, kick your door down, kick your mother's door down, your grandmother's door down. I didn't care. If you had something I needed behind there, I'm coming and I'm coming to get it. And they would always let me in because I was pretty. I dressed well. So they would always open the door and let me in. Reminds me of the devil, all dressed up. I had names like Satan, Taboo. The last one I had was E.T. It called me E.T., Queen of the Crack, Erie Avenue. All of that because I was afraid. I didn't want to be hurt no more. So I spent 2 years one time behind the door saying, how many? Dressed up. Nobody could see me, just my hand. How many? And pass me your money. But on January the 12th, I was back to what I was saying, that my friends they found out I was using, they wouldn't give me no packages, so I'm sitting there waiting for a package. And at that point, I was just mad and I was tired of them dictating and treating me like they want to treat me with, I can't make no money, I can't get high because y'all dictating. I'm thinking I'm the puppeteer, but really I'm the puppet now because I got to wait for them. So when he came, I didn't have any matches. The wheel on the cigarette lighter broke. The little light on the pallet was out. I'm on Germantown and Allegheny in Philadelphia. People going to work, and I'm asking for matches. Nobody would give me one. I'm talking about my bottom. I'm talking about having as much as $2 million in my hand at my disposal at one time. But here I am on January the 12th in an apartment on Germantown and Allegheny with no matches, bundles of cocaine, and 105 pennies. At the time, that's what it cost to ride the subway in Philadelphia. I walked from Germantown and Allegheny to Broad and Allegheny. It was a store on the corner that sold 2 cases of matches for $1.05, and it was the subway that cost $1.05 to get on the subway. I need to tell you, grace and mercy found me, y'all. God saw fit to save me, y'all. I got on the subway. January 12th, 1990. I have not found the reason to go back. I'm talking about, if you ever can picture what mercy looked like, it's here, right here. I don't deserve anything that God has given me. When I tell you I still owe, I still owe. I no longer treat women the way I used to treat them. I was confused about my sexual identity because I had to be just like my partners. I treated them just like they treated the women, like dogs. And I got into recovery. I went up to a town they called it Utopia, Recovery Utopia at the time. It was a place called Williamsport, Pennsylvania. I went up there in 1990 after 30 days in that rehab. And a friend of mine hooked me up with a recovery house that she was working for. And a year later, I bought it. So I had owned the first recovery house for women in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And I'm talking about God doing something in me long before I knew what he was doing. Because one of the things that happened for me when I got clean is I got stupid because I'm clever. I'm a clever person. You know, I'm a very smart person. I'm a hustler by nature. So the thing that happened for me is that I got stupid. Because the only way you can get full with what's right is if you empty yourself with what's wrong. So I had to get stupid. Everything I thought I knew about the truth was subject to revision, and I had to let it happen. So I met a lady who had some things in her. Because listen, man, I used to sit with my hands between my legs talking to, you know. And she was dainty, had her legs crossed and her pinky finger up. And I was like, well, man, I want to be like that. Now, I'm telling you, for years I sat in the meeting with my legs like this. Because even though I had those behaviors, I walked around with silk dresses and high heels on. I'm talking about a total contradiction. I was a walking contradiction all my life until I felt recovery. They talk about the primary purpose is to carry the message to the person who's still suffering. And they ain't talking about no newcomer. They said the person that's still suffering. And that was me. Even with multiples of years clean. I still did not believe that God had a place and a purpose for me. I had blood on my hands. I had did some things, man. I did some things to people, some undespicable things. That I never thought that God would forgive me for. I remember getting pregnant with my son. And I have rare blood. I have very rare blood. So I was 6 months pregnant before I realized I was pregnant. And I had him at 6.5. And I remember going in the hospital, and I told you that I thought I was clever. I use new syringes all the time, so I don't have track marks. But when I went in that hospital and had to get blood work done, I need to tell y'all, I'm from the streets. And the shame and humiliation that I had to experience, I was in a predominantly Caucasian area in a hospital, rolled out in the hallway with the gurney turned upside down with my finger in my mouth trying to blow a vein. Said I gave birth to that little boy at 6.5 months. And he was 2 pounds, 6 ounces. And I began to call on the name of Jesus. I just kept saying, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I didn't know how to ask for nothing because I didn't think I was worthy. So I just said, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And his father looked at me, Do you know how to say anything else? No, all I know is Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And my son stayed in that hospital for 59 days. Listen, I didn't even know how to drive at the age of 32. I didn't know how to drive. I paid hacks to take me every place I wanted to go. But I went in there and took my little test and got the little permit and went back to go. I need to tell y'all, I knocked every cone down. I ain't know how to make no figure eight. I couldn't back up. I couldn't parallel park. I told that man, I got to have these licenses because my son was 26 miles from where I lived. And he gave me them license. So I was able to go every day. And the reason why I'm talking about calling on the name of Jesus is because that's when I began to see the evidence of him being in my life. Not knowing what to say except Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But I saw the transformation taking place. And again, doing the work necessary to become a better person and treating women like the queens that they are, you know, and not like being so caught up in the belief system that I had all of them years. I hated a weak woman. You don't supposed to ask a man for nothing. He don't give it, take it. So I treated them like the men treated them. But when God gave me that recovery house, I had the opportunity to pour into them women's lives. I ain't going to tell y'all no lie. I was mean. It was all outdoors. I don't play no way, shape, form, or fashion. If you ain't trying to do what it is that I have to offer you, leave. And I didn't care. I've put the whole house out with snow all the way up to your chest because they were doing something in my house that I didn't want to happen. But I also need to tell you that 80% of those women still clean today. You know, God had gave me the opportunity to, but in that town, when you say Ethel R., you said recovery. I don't play with this thing. A lot of people are very intimidated by the way I recover. They're intimidated because I don't play with this thing. Don't ask me something if you do not want to hear the truth as I see it. I don't care about hurting your feelings. Because that little short lady that sponsored me for 28 years did not care about hurting minds. They told me, give it the way you got it. And that's the only way I know how. No, I am not picking up the newcomer to take them to a meeting. That ain't who I am. Ask me for a ride home, you can get one. But I will not take you to a meeting. And I do that because that's how I got it. I had to walk 3 meetings a day. Rain, sleet, or hail. They didn't care how much the snow was. If you ever been in the Poconos, you know the snow is up there. That's where I got clean at. And that's, listen, 3 meetings a day. We had to go and we had to walk. So my drive for this process, was formulated like that. Now I continue to stay clean, and 13 years ago, my son was murdered. See, the God that I serve keep giving me, I used to call them tests, but I call them opportunities now. he keep giving me opportunities to grow spiritually. My third step told me if that it was necessary. And it used the word necessary to be honest about the relationship that you have with the God of your understanding if you are to grow spiritually. And so it was these opportunities that kept coming up in my life that made me recommit and reconfirm the relationship that I had with the God that I serve. Because when my son died, listen, E.T. came back immediately. 7th step in my life. My defects of character, they're in a spiritual coma. Y'all need to know that. And I say spiritual coma because the only way they stay sedated is because I practice spiritual principles. Outside of that, they wake up. And when my son got murdered, they woke up. Everything in me, kill him, kill his mother, kill the babies, kill everybody. Everything in me said kill. I thank God that they talk about sponsorship being a double-edged sword. It's a two-way street. Because I do step work with my sponsees. I give them the opportunity to know who I am and how I operate and how I move. And so that you're able sometimes to see me because, listen, despite what you hear people say, you can't see this disease coming. You can't. Your foot be already in it. Now, you might have some stuff up in you to pull your feet out, but no, you cannot. How do you know when your disease is active? After it's active. You can't see it coming. But because those women knew me and they knew how I was thinking, I had already had a plan. I used to have a button of my son on my shoulder the whole time I'm going to court. Because my son was murdered by his best friend brother. By the third day of them letting me in the court, going through the metal detectives, they already knew who. Mine kept going off because I had that button on my chest. My thinking, E.T. came back. They're going to let you in. Stick your gun in your bra. And just kill him. Tired of him walking past me looking like he ain't take something from me. And that was my biggest pet peeve. You don't take anything from me. But he took my son from me. And because I share me with my sponsees, one of them was able to come up and say, "Spons, please don't do it." I said, "Don't do what?" She said, "I know what you're thinking." She said, "But you still got a daughter and a grandson who need you." I'm talking about restoration. Being restored to sanity. Because I was insane. I was insane. And she restored me. All I could do is sit there and just sing for almost 3 hours, "Yes, Jesus loves me." Because the Bible told me so. So it's been 13 years since I lost my son. 2 years ago, I got diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. Another opportunity. The evidence. Everybody that know me know that I shared about having breast cancer. And it was always, I got cancer, but cancer ain't got me. I believed that the God I serve, I have an altar in my house. When you walk into my apartment, I have a prayer altar there, sectioned off, where I kneel and I pray. I take my communion there. I no longer have a church home because the church hurt, but I still serve the God that I understand today. Because he's shown me evidence time and time again, man, that I was worthy, that he loved me in spite of who I am. Thank you, Miguel. You must have knew my throat was dry. So I continue to believe that that he has purpose for me. I don't quite know, but what I believe is my ministry is in sponsorship. I believe to be a vessel, not only for the 12-step program that I operate under, but also and mainly for the God that I serve. I spend my days showing, teaching, loving up on, building up, helping them to see the greatness in them. I sponsor some fabulous, marvelous women who I pour into. I give them my time, my energy, show all the compassion. All the hate I had is turned into compassion. Try my best not to be one to sit back and let them run into brick walls. I don't do that, man. Sometimes I push myself farther than I think that I really need to, because I just don't want to hurt them no more. And I don't want to see them hurt. I still get quite angry when I see a woman dependent on a man. I don't like it at all. That's part that's just embedded in me. I believe go get your own. Nobody makes you happy. They can only enhance your happiness. You got to make you happy. And I don't just want liberty, I want freedom. And that's what I try to install in the women that I sponsor. Free to be who you are, whomever that may be. And some of them coming here still with all of them old bad behaviors. We all do. Just keep loving them. Just keep pouring in the hope in them. Keep letting them know that, listen, just for the day. There's an opportunity if you wake up the next day to do something different. My prayer every night is just, God, help me to be a better person tomorrow than I was yesterday. Just help me. I won't sit here and tell y'all that my mind don't take me to those places and those behaviors and those mannerisms, and sometimes they stick their ugly head out. But because of the work that I've done, like I said, can't see it when it's coming, but when I'm in it, I know how to pull my foot out because I've done the work. It is imperative that you do the work. You don't know what you're missing. Because when you talk about a dressed up bum, that's what I was. And the adjective for bum is just something with no quality, useless. And that's what I was. But that's not who I am today. I serve a loving, caring God, man, that uses me in the most magnificent ways. Somebody sees something in me that they want for themselves. Me. People love me. I did everything in my power to make you afraid of me because I thought that gave me power. I didn't learn until I got into this fellowship and started doing the work what love really was, man. And yeah, you can see it, but you feel it. You feel it. I see it when I see one of the ladies that I sponsor doing something different. I'm so very proud of them. I'm so very proud of the work that they do. So, our primary purpose is not to pick up one day at a time. Continue to build a relationship with the God of my understanding. Continue to be a vessel. When I was at home getting ready, because I worked in the sun all day long, and I called Zach because it was laid on my spirit, and I don't like to do anything that's not decent and in order. But it was laid in my spirit to ask for an offering for the Firm Foundation. Because everybody had a good time here, didn't y'all? And as I was talking to Zach, he said that, yeah, man, we done put in for grants all over. And they don't give it. I need y'all to know that's the devil's work. We serve an awesome and a mighty God that does anything but fail. So I'm going to put the first $50 down here. And I'm going to ask anybody who can meet it to meet it, and if you can't, it's okay. But whatever you have, please bring something up. And if you don't have anything but a desire, come touch the money up front. Because we serve a God that will multiply even a thought if you ask. We need to have this kind of stuff happening for us. If we don't do it for each other, ain't nobody going to do it for us. We a special group of people. That's what we are, a special group of people who set examples for those coming behind us. That no matter who you was, you can become something better. I'm an addict recovering named Ethel McNichols.